Yo, what's up, guys? This is Why Not Be Reckless, aka Why Not Be Casting. I'm one of the HCS commentators, and we have another HCS report for you. Where today we're going to be talking about Optic Gaming and answering the question is, are they only good online? It's going to be really fun. Let's get right into it. Today we're going to talk about their current roster. Well, at least we're going to start off talking about them. You have APG, one of the most underrated shots that we have in our game. On top of that, he brings that swagger to the team. He is always willing to put in that dirty work. I love what APG brings to the roster, and I don't think this team would be the same if it wasn't for Bradley Laws going into Formal, the newest member of this crew. When I think of Formal, I think of a multi-game champion. I think of a championship pedigree that was needed coming into this Optic Gaming roster, and since they brought him in, it's really helped them. It's really helped them ascend to another level. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. But fundamental, good shot. Always has his reticle centered, and his communication pretty damn good. He's able to be quick with his words, but also you understand what he's saying. So it's very efficient with his comms. Next up, we got to talk about Lucid Gaming. Arguably the best player in the game right now. Slays, plays fast, really came into Halo Infinite wanting to become an IGL and wanted to work on that. And so far I would say he's done a really good job doing it. If you can slay and you can IGL at the same time, you'll always have a special place in my heart when it comes to some of the best players in the league. Next up, we got to talk about Trippy. Trippy is the kind of Lucid's duo when they roam around the map together. He has the ability to slay out at any given point in time, but very similar to APG, he's not afraid to do that dirty work. You know, he's not afraid to play that objective first. And it's so funny because we have Lucid, Formal, and APG flying at you at times. Sometimes you just have Trippy just ratting it out in a corner, having the weirdest playstyle in the world, but it's effective. You know, it makes you have to check your quarters because if you don't watch your six, Trippy might be coming out. In addition to Formal bringing that championship pedigree, we got to talk about Lunchbox, you know, part of the dynamic twin duo of him and Roy. They've won multiple titles and just so good together. He brings a lot of smarts to the team, but on top of that, like I said before, championship. I think having that championship mentality is really important. You got to know how to walk, talk, and act like a champion. It's just a different kind of vibe that I think Lunchbox and Formal ultimately bring with their with their historic career. Same with APJ. APJ has had an amazing career, starting off in Halo 2 when he was like 14 or 15 years old. So I always talk about, in order to know where you're going, you have to know where you've been. So we're going to talk about Optic Gaming throughout multiple different tournaments leading up to how they've been looking currently and how we expect them to look in Orlando. But let's rewind all the way back to even before Rally. But the first two open series in the actual game itself, we had Pistola on the roster, and everybody knows Pistola is one of the best to ever do it. You know, he's top 25 for a reason. Some people say that, you know, he's number one in their hearts, and I think you make a damn good argument for Pistola being one of the best players in ever to touch the control. I think there's an argument to be made there, but for back-to-back first places to start off our open series, which was great. Even going into the qualifier, they were able to get second place. So, you know, so far you're averaging second place or above going in for Pistola and this Optic Gaming roster. But then you go into Raleigh and you don't perform as well as you would want to. We look at the bracket here, and you know, just weren't able to replicate that success on land. You take Cloud9 to Game 5 in the winner's bracket, but ultimately end up getting knocked out of it. And then over towards the loser's bracket, you end up losing out to Sentinels in a Game 5. So not exactly what you want to see out of them going into Raleigh. And a little bit disappointing. And actually, by the way, Sentinels were rocking, so instead of World 2, we're rocking Formal because World 2 wasn't eligible to play in that tournament. So, you know, you got your own Optic bannered Formal beating you out in Raleigh. That must have hurt just a little bit more when and then obviously getting top 6 is not where Optic Gaming wanted to see. We're talking about a roster that's put together to win championships. Going into the Pro Series, they dipped quite a bit, 12th place, but right back on it, 2nd place back to back. 4th, again, not exactly what you want to see, but going into Anaheim, they caught fire. Optic Gaming started doing their thing, and they were looking amazing. We're gonna take a look at this bracket as well, real quick. All the way through the winners bracket, we followed them. They end up getting 3-0'd by C9, which at that time Cloud9 were probably the most dominant team in the league. But then Optic Gaming go on a run 3-0ing E United, who had just beat out Sentinels, and then obviously in the grand finals losing out to Cloud9 once again. Cloud9 back-to-back land champions in Halo Infinite, and I would say they were by far looking like the best team in the league when it came to on land, even though Optic were still performing well online. Right after Anaheim, Optic Gaming decided to make a very interesting move. You're talking about you just finished 2nd place, which is phenomenal. But they decided to make an interesting move in dropping Pistol and then bringing in Formals on the current roster right now. And I think Formal might have put the squeeze, saying, "Hey, look, I want to play Halo for a top team." And he probably went up to Optic Gaming and probably said, "Hey, look, you can either pick me up right now, or you can have me as a competitor going forward, because I can jump on any team right now and find success, and there will be a roster spot for Formal no matter where he goes." And it was true. So I think Formal probably had to talk with Optic, saying, "Hey, look, are you going with me, or am I going to another team? Because I already showed that I could do my thing and I can compete for championships." And I think Optic Gaming decided to go with him instead of having him as a competitor. And I think that was the best move for them, because the moment they picked up the moment they picked up Formal in that FaZe Clan Invitational, 1st place, $40,000 in that event. $40,000 right after Anaheim. You go into Kansas City and you dip down a little bit. I mean, 3rd place isn't the worst in the world. Like, there's very few teams that will get 3rd place on land and consider that a bad event. However, I think Optic Gaming are one of those teams. I think Optic Gaming are in a weird position where they want to, it's either grand finals or bust for them. And I don't think they were happy with that 3rd place finish. So I would say in this case, it might have been considered a bad tournament for Optic Gaming, even though it's 3rd place, which is crazy to think about. Going into the next few Pro Series, they step it up. 2nd place, 1st place, 1st place, and then most recently in the online Super, they were able to get their big win. And I say big win because it was. You had Optic Gaming making it all the way through the winners finals, able to 3-1 Sentinels, which was one of their biggest competitions at this time. Going into the elimination bracket, you had G1 beat out Cloud9 in the game 5, beat out Sentinels in a sweep. So G1 coming hot into the grand finals, and they end up getting put out because Optic Gaming pull off not only a 3-0 sweep, but a 4-0 sweep in a best of 7 in the grand finals. Optic Gaming come out not only winning this tournament, but also making a statement while doing it. And it was big. It was big for Optic Gaming. So far, the move seems to work out well. Obviously, not for Pistola, who might be retiring soon, but as far as the move for Optic Gaming, the experiment bringing Formal in definitely paid off. So, want to talk about expectations going into Orlando. You know, you still see the team find more success online than they have on land. A lot of people are willing to point that out. The moment you mention Optic Gaming, I feel like there's only 2 sides. You have the Optic Gaming lovers who will fight to the death for them, and then you have the Optic Gaming haters who will just say, "Oh, they're only online. This, that, and blah, blah, blah." And ask yourself, what's the correct answer? Because so far, that Super was an online one. Before we get to Orlando, just want to talk about the recent placements. Recent scrims, because even though scrims aren't the biggest factor when going into evaluating a team, I will say that it's important. And will go, Optic Gaming go in and they 10-2 phase right off the rip. This was a few weeks ago. Still running Snipe down. Dominant against United. Dominant against KCP. Dominant against G1. The new FaZe roster then pick up King Nick, and so far it seems like FaZe are the only team that's really able to compete with Optic when it comes to online scrims. The moment they picked up King Nick after getting 10-2 with Snipe down, they go the distance with them all 13 games and only lose out that scrim by 1. Optic dominant against Sentinels, dominant against Complexity, and then recently, what is 4 days ago, less than a week ago, Optic end up losing out, which seems like their first scrim ever. They end up losing out the scrim against FaZe, who again, we said once they picked up King Nick, this team started to get better and better, and FaZe really started to figure it out. Mind you, we nicknamed them the God Squad back in June, and they never were able to reach anywhere near their full potential, but now it seems like they're starting to figure it out with King Nick on the roster. And right back to as recently as 2 days ago, Optic able to dominate G1, again, who still are red hot and still figuring things out themselves. So, you're still looking at great online. We haven't yet seen you on land since Kansas City, which they got 3rd place, a little bit below their standards, I would say. I still think that Optic Gaming have done enough to be the favorites going into Orlando. You're only, I'm gonna say, it's different to say that you've yet to find success on land to what you're looking for than saying that you're an online only team. I think calling a team an online only team to me is like one of the ultimate disrespects. Like, that is literally disrespecting the team. That's something that I personally won't do. But I will say that the clock is on Optic Gaming. They have to win a championship. They have to win a tournament between Orlando and Worlds. And so the clock is on them. You got 2 tournaments. We need to see Optic come out with the win. Now the question is, do you guys think they will? Let me know down in the comments down below if you think Optic can win out either Orlando or Worlds. And another HCS Weekly Report live every single day on Twitch, 10 o'clock in the morning. It's been an absolute blast recording these videos. We upload them to YouTube right after the stream. And now we're doing YouTube Shorts and TikTok and a whole bunch of other things. I'm just trying to grind and try to put out as much content as possible. So it's been really fun. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of Optic Gaming. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace out.